Right here at 4:30, it is snowing in Roxborough. It's a WRAL weather alert day. I'll show you what you'll see as we get through the day.
And back to Fort Bragg. Reaction to the announcement that the post will no longer be called Fort Liberty.
And a safety tool for teachers, the new Panic Button app that will be reviewed in Wake County today before being rolled out next week. It is 4:30, and today we are rolling out the WRAL Weather Alert Day. We have a wintry mix in our northern counties, and as Elizabeth said, it's already snowing in Roxborough. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. It's great to have you along here as we get our Tuesday rolling along. And Elizabeth, as we take a look here, this was always going to be north of the I-85 corridor there, and here it is in Roxborough already.
Yeah, already a little bit earlier. It looked like, maybe 7 to 9 o'clock is when we would start to see it moving in. But you can see here, blue, of course, is snow. Pink is a wintry mix, so that's where we'll start to see some sleeted rain mixing in. And then back to Greensboro, we're looking at rain. Most likely from Raleigh southward, the bulk of this is going to be rain, and it is going to be a cold, miserable rain. So here's a look at Roxborough, just to the west. So maybe in another hour or so, it starts to mix with some sleet and rain. Most likely, we're going to start to see this falling also up in Mecklenburg County, Virginia, and of course, all along our northern counties. We take a look at futurecast, and again, it's a little bit on the slow side, but certainly we do see the precipitation rolling in, and it is likely to be with us through the day today and continue to be just a messy, chilly day. So we do have a winter weather advisory that's in effect for Chapel Hill and Durham, Warrenton, Roxborough, and up into South Hill. It's a winter storm warning in South Hill for a better chance for some accumulating snow. This is a look at our impacts. So we are likely to see slick bridges north of I-85 and maybe even a few slick roads as well. We're not looking at any issues here in the triangle because our temperatures are just going to be too warm. Here's a live look at Roxborough right now. And you can still see just a few snowflakes flying. I know you probably can't see it there on TV, but you have to trust me. I can see some of that there on the camera there in the street lights. 39 is our temperature in the triangle with an east wind at around 8 miles per hour. We're going to hold it in the 30s all day long. So when I say it is going to be an uncomfortable day, you see what I mean. We have Laura Levine out in the storm tracker this morning. She is on I-85 headed up to Roxborough.
Elizabeth, good morning. We're very excited to hear that there's already some snow activity happening in Roxborough right now. We're about 30 minutes out here traveling on I-885 in Durham, where you can see this is the calm before the storm, as we like to call it. The roads are clear. We have our windshield wipers on because we're seeing just a light sprinkle of rain, if you will. Nothing major. But as we know, the NCDOT has prepared the roads for the winter weather that's on the way this morning, specifically on I-85 due to that threat of sleet north of I-85 and the chance for icy roads. Now, a spokesperson for the NCDOT, Kim Diener, she says the focus is on the northern counties, specifically brining bridges that can ice over first. The DOT sent out only one brine truck for this system and brined roads and bridges yesterday. This effort, of course, lowers the freezing temperature of the pavement and also makes it easier to clear when that time comes.
Black ice is no joke. No one can drive on ice, and hopefully the brine we put down will prevent any problems, but taking your time to get to your location, certainly helps also.
And you can probably see, taking a live look here at the storm tracker, we're beginning to see some of the brine here in Durham County. Of course, we're going to continue to keep you updated on the conditions live in the WRAL storm tracker. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Durham.
And just a heads up for parents out there, the possibility of icy conditions is causing some schools to make changes. Mecklenburg County, Virginia schools are closed. Other school systems are delayed or remote. You can find a complete list on WRAL.com.
Just before 2 this morning, the WRAL Breaking News Tracker got this video of a pickup truck being towed from a crash. It happened on Pool Road in Raleigh near Hodge Road. And you can see that truck's front end is badly damaged. We're working to learn if there was anyone hurt in that crash and what caused it. New this morning, North Carolina's public schools are outpacing most of the nation in math. But the state is following the ongoing national drop in reading. 3rd through 8th grade students are half a grade level behind in math compared to before the COVID-19 pandemic. They are 3/4 of a grade level behind in reading. Nationwide, students are behind about half a grade in both math and reading. Find out more about the new study from Harvard and Stanford at the education section of WRAL.com.
This morning, we are hearing more reaction to the news that Fort Liberty's name will be changing back to Fort Bragg. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth says the post will now be named after Private First Class Roland L. Bragg, who served in the Army during World War II. It was previously named after Confederate General Braxton Bragg before the name was changed in 2023.
Congressman Richard Hudson, whose district includes the post, celebrated the news on social media. He wrote, "Fort Bragg is back. Thank you, Secretary of Defense." Congressman Pat Harrigan also welcomed the announcement. He wrote, "Fort Bragg always was, always will be." Both Hudson and Harrigan are Republicans.
And Democratic Fayetteville Mayor Mitch Colvin was surprised by the move. In a statement, he said, "It seems to contradict the administration's commitment to efficiency and cost savings." Furthermore, the renaming process, which included Gold Star families who felt Liberty was a true reflection of what our servicemen and women defend day in and day out.
New this morning, a federal judge is delaying President Donald Trump's firing of the head of the government's special counsel. Hampton Dellinger says President Trump's termination email to him Friday was illegal. He filed a federal lawsuit yesterday. Trump named Veterans Affairs Secretary Doug Collins to serve as interim head of the Office of Special Counsel. The judge's order says Derringer should stay in the role through at least Thursday while the judge gets more detailed legal arguments.
This morning, an investigation into what caused a jet to collide with another at an airport in Arizona is underway, and video shows the moment of impact as that jet speeds down the runway at the Scottsdale airport. Investigators say the pilot was killed and the co-pilot was taken to the hospital. There you see it there. And we know the plane is owned by Motley Crue singer Vince Neil. A spokesperson says Neil was not on board. Officials say it appears the plane veered off the runway after its main landing gear failed. The crash follows several aviation disasters in recent weeks, including the mid-air collision in D.C. and the crash in Philadelphia. Today, Raleigh City Council will get an update on the county's bus rapid transit system. Staff will give a project update on the 4 corridors that are planned. Work has already started on the New Bern Avenue corridor. Others plan to connect downtown Raleigh with North Raleigh, Cary, and Garner. City Council will talk about the project during a work session that starts at 4 this afternoon.
A dairy worker infected. The new strain of bird flu passed from cows to humans for the first time.
Battle over OpenAI, the offer made by Elon Musk to buy control of the company, and the rejection from the current CEO.
And this is a live look at Sanford. We are tracking rounds of rain this week, including today on this WRAL Weather Alert Day. How much rain we expect and who sees the potential for a wintry mix.
From the WRAL Severe Weather Center, North Carolina's most experienced team of meteorologists.
441, taking a look at dual Doppler 5000 radar. We have some snow. We've sighted it up there in Roxborough, and you can definitely see it here on the radar. Some patchy light rain from the triangle all the way down into our southern counties, and it is going to be wet everywhere. It's just going to be north of I-85 and up toward Roanoke Rapids. Those northern counties where we're going to end up with the best chance of wintry precipitation. It is starting there as some snow, but likely to switch over to a mix of sleet and then maybe even a little freezing rain and then eventually over to rain. Our chance for precipitation continues to go up as we get through the day today. So here's a look at our winter weather advisory. It is a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Expect as much as half an inch of sleet and snow in the purple shaded areas, which is just north of the triangle, but does include Durham and Chapel Hill.
Your time is 4:42 here on the WRAL Live Center. Not that long ago, leaders of the European Union say that in response to U.S. tariffs on steel and aluminum, that they will, quote, not go unanswered. The leaders from the union say that they will act to safeguard their economic interests. And in terms of what that means, though, the EU leaders say their response will mean, quote, firm and proportionate countermeasures. They do note that how tariffs are taxes, and taxes obviously can cost businesses and even more so for consumers when those costs are passed on to them. Germany's chancellor even says that the European Union will act as one in response to this, but they note that with trade wars, both sides tend to suffer. Join me on the WRAL Live Center a little bit later because I'm going to see how investors are reacting to this with U.S. stock futures.
As Russia's war with Ukraine nears its fourth year, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky says he is ready to negotiate. During an interview with a British news outlet, Zelensky said he is willing to negotiate with Russian President Vladimir Putin, but only if the United States and Europe continue to support Ukraine and provide security guarantees.
Elon Musk is leading a group of investors in an offer to buy control of OpenAI for nearly $98 billion. This comes as Musk is in the midst of a legal battle with the company and its CEO, Sam Altman. Following the news, Altman wrote on X, "No thank you, but we will buy Twitter for $9.74 billion if you want." Musk replied, calling him a swindler and scam Altman. Musk and Altman were two of OpenAI's co-founders in 2015. Musk now has a competitor in the AI market, a startup called XAI, and he is suing OpenAI, accusing it of antitrust violations and to try and keep it from converting into a for-profit corporation. Later today, the Wake School Board will discuss the new panic button and other safety measures. The Board Safety and Security Committee plans to talk about a new security advisory board made up of students. They will also hear an update on the rollout of a panic button app for staff members. WRAL told you yesterday that's been rescheduled to roll out next week. The board's facility committee will talk about naming 2 future schools and the potential impact of tariffs on school construction. You can follow our coverage online as well at the education section of WRAL.com.
A top state lawmaker is pushing government-backed cryptocurrency investments in North Carolina. Speaker of the House Destin Hall says cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin are the future. The GOP leader says getting North Carolina invested now can set the state up for long-term financial success. The Treasurer's Office invests billions of dollars for the state retiree pension plan, the state highway fund, and many more programs. Hall's bill will allow the treasurer to put up to 10% of certain funds into crypto coins. Check the NC Capital section of WRAL.com for more details on the proposal.
The federal bureau that's given Americans nearly $20 billion in relief has been ordered to stop nearly all its work. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was created after the Great Recession in the late 2000s, intended to be a financial regulator to look out for consumers. It does things like capping overdraft and late fees and challenging unnecessary loan fees. Raleigh mortgage lender Michael Martin says laws would still exist, but the Bureau's suspension rolls back on the federal oversight of those laws.
But, the question I think really is, that's important is, does that cost to, or does that lead to additional cost to the consumer overall? We're paying for it one way or the other, right? We're paying for it in our taxes to support these jobs for these people, but at the same time, is it there to protect? They are there to protect the consumers individually.
The main page of the Bureau's website is currently down. Today, advocates for Alzheimer's and dementia patients will be in Raleigh. They are calling on lawmakers to support funding for testing and care. Today is North Carolina Alzheimer's Advocacy Day at the State Legislative Building. Advocates are calling for legislative support to cover testing that supports early detection and diagnosis of the disease. They also want more funding for the state's only dementia-specific respite care program. They plan to walk to the legislative building together this morning and meet with lawmakers throughout the day.
Republican Jefferson Griffin wants to appeal a Wake County court ruling in the race for state Supreme Court. He wants the court to throw out about 65,000 ballots from the November election, which he says should not have counted for various reasons. After multiple recounts, Griffin is losing to Democratic incumbent Allison Riggs by roughly 700 votes. She released a statement saying she knew this would be a long fight. Durham police are looking for this woman for shooting a child. Police say Zaria Hackney, right here, shot a 14-year-old girl last summer. It happened July of last year on Ridgeway Avenue. The girl's injuries are not considered life-threatening. Hackney is facing charges, and if you know where she is, you're asked to call police.
The Department of Justice has ordered all charges against New York City Mayor Eric Adams to be dismissed. The order is for all charges, including bribery and wire fraud. Officials say the dismissal is without prejudice, meaning charges could be refiled in the future. A motion to dismiss will also be reviewed by a judge. Adams has pleaded not guilty.
A dairy worker in Nevada was infected with a new type of bird flu. It's different from the version that's been spreading in cow herds in the U.S. Federal health officials say the person's symptoms were mild, mostly just eye redness and irritation. The CDC says the person has recovered now. This new strain has been seen before in people exposed to infected birds, but this is the first time an infection was traced to a cow. CDC officials say there's no evidence the virus has spread to any other people.
It is 4:48, and we're seeing different kinds of precipitation across the viewing area. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner with the breakdown of who is seeing all that snow and who's getting rain.
Yeah, so we have snow up near the Virginia line showing up there on radar. Sometimes what shows up on radar, especially at the beginning of a system, is evaporating before it reaches the ground. But we're seeing just a few flurries flying right now in Roxborough on the camera. Notice the green here, that's going to be rain. And the purple shaded area, or pink, is going to be where we see rain mixing with sleet, snow, and maybe even a little bit of freezing rain. For Raleigh southward today, this is all going to be rain. It's starting off a little bit on the light side right now, but we'll definitely pick up. It's going to be just kind of a miserable day for it today. Here's a look at Roxborough. Again, you can see showing up as snow right now, and that stretches all the way toward Roanoke Rapids and, of course, on up into Mecklenburg County, Virginia. We'll take a look at Futurecast, and again, you can see starting first thing here, a little bit of snow showing up. Then it begins to lift northward, and potentially by lunchtime, it's rain across the entire viewing area, except up in Mecklenburg County, Virginia. That line is going to bobble back and forth, so expect there to be the potential for a little bit more wintry weather there across the line into Virginia. As a matter of fact, if you're planning to travel up into Virginia from here, it's going to be really messy. Look at this rain. Look how it really starts to spread across the area for later on tonight and even into the day tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a really messy day, too. So just cold rain with us for the bulk of the day and even into tomorrow. So we do have a WRAL weather alert day for today. We do have that winter weather advisory in our northern counties, including Durham County and Orange County. Of course, South Hill is in a winter storm warning. There's the possibility that we would see maybe a light dusting of snow and the chance for some sleet. Slick bridges are going to be the biggest impact that we see for today. Expect some slick spots on elevated surfaces, probably decks as well. We'll zoom in and again, looking from, say, Warrenton to South Hill to Roxborough to Durham, some icing possible as well. So a little bit of freezing rain. Here's a look at our timeline for today. Looking at light rain moving in as well as that mix of wintry precipitation in the north. Once we get into the afternoon, we're looking at pockets of on and off heavy rain, and we'll continue to see some patchy ice up near the Virginia line. Back to that camera in Roxborough. It's not much coming down, not a lot of big flakes, just a few flurries showing up there on the camera. It is 39 degrees right now in the Triangle and around town. We're just going to hold it right here. 39 this afternoon in Raleigh and Durham and 42 in Fayetteville. So just a really chilly, miserable day. It's 32 in Roxborough, 34 in South Hill, 33 right now in Rocky Mount, 35 in Goldsboro, 36 in Southern Pines. That 39 in the Triangle is the warmest that we're seeing anywhere. WRAL weather alert day. Tomorrow we have rain in the forecast and it will be chilly. Warmer on Thursday with a chance of a thunderstorm. The best chance of seeing any sunshine this week will be Friday for Valentine's Day. We could end up Sunday with a few thunderstorms.
All right, around we go. Thanks, Elizabeth. Cracking down on customers, the purchase limits being put on cartons of eggs at your local grocery stores.
And almost science fiction, the new discovery about the Earth's inner core. You'll want to listen to this before your next trip to Trader Joe's. The company has set a 1 dozen egg limit per day for customers because of the bird flu. A company spokesperson says this will help stores prevent empty shelves. Trader Joe's is not the only retailer attempting to cope with the egg supply shortage. Kroger officials say although they haven't officially placed a limit, some of its stores have on availability. The Agriculture Department predicts the cost of eggs will increase 20% before the end of the year.
And unfortunately, Renee, this is happening. Thieves in Seattle targeted a restaurant for its eggs. Owner of the Luna Park Cafe says owners say that the two men took more than 500 eggs, along with other food items, including bacon, ground beef, and blueberries. Cafe's owners say they have been struggling to buy eggs because of that nationwide shortage.
Movie theaters are about to get a little more magical. David Daniel has that and more in today's Hollywood Minute.
Dear Mr. Potter, you have been accepted at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
The Boy Who Lived is coming back to the big screen. The first 4 Harry Potter movies are returning to theaters as part of Fathom Entertainment's Fathom Fan Favorite series. Screenings begin Thursday. Check fathomentertainment.com for locations and showtimes.
It's great to have the freedom.
Ben Stiller is putting The Band together. He's set to star in the HBO music industry dramedy The Band as a scandal-plagued pop impresario trying to save his career by forming a new act. Stiller is also on board as an executive producer of the show.
You got anything more boutique?
The Muppets rock the Super Bowl. YouTube says Booking.com's ad featuring Jim Henson's Muppets and other would-be vacationers was Sunday's most viewed Super Bowl spot. Glenn Powell as Goldilocks starred in the runner-up ad, jumping a volcano for Ram trucks. In Hollywood, I'm David Daniel.
Scientists believe major changes are happening under the Earth's surface. They think the Earth's core is changing shape. Since they can't directly observe it, scientists have been analyzing changes in the size and shape of seismic waves as they pass through the core. In this study, they found deformation in those waves from earthquakes. It is hard to pin down what those changes look like. Scientists say it's mostly likely the outer core pushing on the inner core and moving it around a bit. Earlier this month, they confirmed the core recently reversed its spin as well. You might run into some slick spots on top of the Earth's surface here this morning. This is a live look at US 501 in Timberlake from the WRAL Storm Tracker. We'll keep you posted as it heads north.
And rebranding a military post. The reaction to the decision to change Fort Liberty back to Fort Bragg.